you ran from the forest where the bees attacked you all the way home, and then all the way to like a prompt care, and you still had bees in your hair.
Yeah. Jesus fuck. And then on key, motherfucker shows up, and yeah, like I had him. I shouldn't have so much glassware around here. I could kill these fuckers.
I put a worse mic, but it's louder.
I feel like it's a bait and switch situation where people tuned into this to see me knock over a wobbly, flimsy mic, and now I have a magnetic one sitting on a metal table, so it's gonna take a real fucking shitstorm to knock this thing over.
Oh, so you're up to the task, Andy. Don't sell yourself short.
Oh yeah, no, I could, you know, the yellow jacket situation is under control at the moment, but if I got stung or you know, I could easily get tangled up and panicked and knock the whole fucking thing over. But you know,
little foreshadowing. Not. Is that what's going on?
I don't know, man. I'm almost done with. Well, I still have the dangerous parts of the house to do, but I'm almost done. I can see the end of the project, and so far so good.
Good.
Except for I haven't hit the hornet area, but I'm going to do that early in the morning when them fuckers are still chilling for the wind going.
Before it warms up is what I understand, because at night and in the morning is the best time to hit their nest.
And then I'll call them something besides. Well, these are like wasps, but they'll have a brown base to them, so they'll be deep toned brown wasp in my eyes.
Good luck, sir.
Yeah. I you know, it's like I painted. I guess I painted my house before, but I've had help, and this is the first. And this house is fucking big and fucking shitty to paint.
Multiple stories.
Except there was no prep work, which is disheartening. If you've ever done any kind of hard paint prep work, you get emotional. It sucks. It's endless.
Andy, you didn't prep the surface of your exterior. My God.
It's a stain. So all I had to do was rinse the fucking cobwebs off, and it's dry as shit. So I didn't have to do any scraping. But it's still.
You don't have a Home Depot out there?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you know, shit. I'd have to tarp up the car and put a mask on somebody.
No, there's always guys hanging out in front of the Home Depot.
What I need is somebody I can go. Okay, we're down the home stretch, but what I need you to do is take my $25 paint gun, and I'm going to hold you upside down by your feet. You hold the gun, which would seem upside down to you, but it'll be right side up to me while I hold your feet, and we get that last 4 feet. You know, I got to get somebody who's possibly has a big time eating disorder. I've heard somebody just told me about an ice skater that's about is being treated for an eating disorder, which is not uncommon. I saw it when my daughter was out competing and stuff. There was a coach who gave him smoothies, and eventually they found out he was fucking lacing them with not roofies. Like ice skating coaches have different fucking motivations.
Different kinks.
Yeah,
they
have
a
different agenda.
Yeah, their kink is to make their skater as light as possible, and then still convince her she's fat and losing and failing. Yeah, so that coach, he was a little cocky little fucker, and this was before I knew about the thing, about he was lacing drinks. But there was a day where he was strutting around with a student out there. And then his student went off and took off for a minute, and he was on the phone, and I was throwing a Frisbee disc for my dog, like a fucking, those Frisbee discs, those will fucking kill a guy if you hit them right. And I figured, fuck it, my dog's over by this guy, and I figured, fuck it, I'll let it go. And sometimes when you throw a ninja star, you can't reclaim it. And it fucking, it hit a car that was like right next to him, bounced off the windshield, but it hit it at an angle so it didn't fuck up the windshield, but it would have fucked his head up. It would have fucking probably done some major damage, And in the ice skating world, that would have been, like a hot gossip item. Did you hear one of the skating dads took down Fuckhead, the coach?
Nancy carried against him with a fucking frisbee.
With a frisbee.
Yeah, I could have got into if my daughter competed better, I could have really been a fucking terror on the circuit. But it was more about building her up than tearing anyone else down at that point. One of my hard fast rules in ice skating dadship was no crying in the rink, and she broke that all the time. And I kind of let it go, but during competitions is when I came up with it, because it was like, you're looking at, it's like if you're looking at, it's like a comic. If you're looking at the score sheets, and then going, oh fuck this shit, it's telling everybody that won. You think that was fucking bullshit, and it's like it just brings attention. So I said, you gulp down them tears till you get out of the rink, wave me down. I'll be over at a bar celebrating the loss or commiserating.
Everyone's a winner.
Yeah.
Celebrating the loss.
Well, it was just,
or just drinking the whole time, whatever you want to call it.
Or the victory, if it ever happens, the victory.
Yeah. I remember like one of her first competitions, and this was like it wasn't there's two forms of it. There's one that's more athletic, and then there's one where you just John Benet your kid and put him on skates and doll it up. And like parents, there was a parent who brought a trailer full of props for a competition, and they do like 15 different things, and like all kinds of different outfits and shit, and not really much of a skating level. It's just like cutesy shit. And one of my daughter's first podiums, she got second place, and she lost to this girl whose parents brought a whole bunch of props, and she beat her as Little Orphan Annie doing A Hard Knock Life. And then my daughter was complaining, and I go, well, if you think about it, you lost to Orphan Annie, and it's A Hard Knock Life. Great second place. Second place.
So these parents would bring like a fire ring and like throwing Chinese stars. I mean, they would bring this fucking stuff that had nothing to do with the program.
Yeah, I forget what it is.
To wow the judges.
The girls who you see in the Olympics are the ones that they go a different route. But in the early days, it's like, it's all these fucking weird outfits and Lion King. It's fucking disastrous. From a standpoint of a parent, you got to go to those events, and it's like going to the shittiest talent show you could go to, when it's kids, oh, here comes somebody dressed like a lion. I wonder what this number's going to be. And it's just like, God damn it, you got to have a headphone on. It's like church. You got to have a headphone so you can listen to something else. And every once in a while, there'd be a bar within walking distance, so I could get an edge taken off, because it's always hard to be supportive of your kid, especially if they don't win.
Nobody wants to back a loser, sweetheart.
No,
just saying.
Yeah.
The slow back rub, and it's all right next time when there's never a next time.
Yeah. There was a competition. Well, she went to sometimes they do test sessions, and those are on the same, like a weekend with competitions. So you can go do the test, which she did and passed it. And then she had a competition, and I think she had the first program, it didn't go so well, but there was a busload of Canadians, and they were all fucking really good, you know. And then my daughter chose to, instead of skating the long program, and it was kind of a cool setup. They had a big giant screen, and you could see, the skater talking to her coach going, I don't want to skate. I'm going to get my ass kicked.
How old, what's the age of the competition here?
These went on like, it was like the years where I was, as a kid, where I was being sexually abused, or the years where my daughter was being abused by skating. So
they were parallel?
11 or 12, but she's, she got beat bad, like, last place in the short program, and then the long program. God damn it, B, fuck off.
Here it comes. Only
These are
12
good.
minutes. Only
Bad.
12 minutes in. I figured we'd at least get to closer to the end before it all happens.
See,
But
am prepared. And I took Shaylee's advice. I got my fuck off, motherfucker. Yeah, look at that, motherfucker, huh? You want to fucking try to ruin a fucking podcast or a vodcast or whatever we call this? That's where you go, to fucking hell. There's I got a bee bottle over here, and I put in blue water. I could just put in food color, and they go up in this thing, and then they fly around till they fall into the water, and then they drown. And sometimes I watch them, and it looks like a synchro team, like a synchro swimming team, but I enjoy watching them drown. Anyway, so my daughter, after getting beat in the short program, decides that she don't want to do the long program. And, it's like the warm-up ice is all these fucking really great little skaters, little tiny tots that are fucking excellent skaters. And she decided, she decided she didn't want to skate against them, and she was just going to go on home. And me being a parent, it's like, cool, we can leave early. I didn't go, God damn it, you got to go and face these Canadians because that's who you're going to be competing against someday or whatever. It's like, shit, man, I wondered when you're going to start quitting. It's kind of a family trait.
Andy, I always just subtly discouraged my kids from being into shit, but all right, that sounds good, but
One of the early competitions I went to it was just me and her. Her coach couldn't go. We recruited an older skater that was like a 19-year-old skater chick. I think she was about 19. And she went up to my daughter. She wasn't able to put her on the ice because of protocol and all that shit. And so it was getting time. It's really dramatic. Basically the coach is there to support her and curl her hair and put on makeup or whatever goes on there. And
it's a real peek behind the curtain, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, and this was her first big
hair.
This was at regionals in Seattle, and then it's getting ready for her time, and then the power goes out. It's like a storm. Awesome. It knocks out a lot of power in Seattle for the whole area. So it's like, and then it's like, they're not even sure if she's gonna skate or anything, and then and then she anyway, she's in her outfit, and we're driving, like, we're going to go to our motel, but everything's shut down, everything. And then eventually we get to where the power's on, and there's a Denny's. So we go into Denny's, and my daughter's got makeup and her dress, and she's been crying, of course, because it's, it's dramatic. These old fucking judges, they drag, the people that are the judges, they're like, World War I survivors and shit with stern faces and shit. And she's not going to skate, it looks like. And so she's upset. Go ahead.
I was just going to mention too, like, I get when you compete in something where you're the lone like, you can't blame it on a teammate if you lose. Yeah. It's fucking devastating. For a long time when I was a kid, I wrestled, and I would fucking cry after every time I lost, just fucking, because I don't know how to not.
You were taking it out on the teammate that cost you the victory.
Yeah.
So
that dick.
So we were sitting in a Denny's, and she's crying, and I'm trying to, I'm giving her some advice and shit. And it's like late, because the thing, she was set to skate late, which is another thing. It's like, God damn it, why are the little ones skating and the big ones are skating early anyway? So I was pissed about a lot of shit, like you do as a parent, and you see the judges, you're like, you fucking cunts. And so they're not even going to let her skate. She's upset. We're at Denny's. And then I look around, and it's kind of like a pimp. It's a pimp whore Denny's, so it's like, I guess, some of the pimps are giving them breakfast before they go out and work the shift. It's like 10:30, 11 at night, and I'm consoling my little daughter who looks like a hooker with her skating outfit.
You're like a young pimp wannabe getting started in the game early.
Yeah, like I saw, I made eye contact with a pimp across the Denny's, and he gave me a look and then I realized it's like, I wonder if he thinks I'm here working. Like, no, man, this is a whole different level of abuse. This is not. It's by her choice, man.
She's here because she wants to be.
Yeah.
But she did the next day. They threw it together, and she got the skate. But and then she fell a bunch that day. She fell a bunch, and this is where I knew she was a badass. After she was done, after the sadness of the loss and everything, she wanted to go to another rink and practice. So I was like, shit, man. And she's still
shut that down. Shut that down.
I would have, but she still does it, and she makes money coaching now. So it's like all that money we put in, she makes coaching, and there's no dividends. There's no, hey, remember that $1,000 pair of skates? Dad, here's some Coke. So it was kind of a thankless gig, but I did it for years. And she was like the senior level test has eluded her. There's one test she has to take, and she almost passed it years ago, right before college. She had
this is a test they take in order to instruct.
Well, it just gives you that, like senior level skaters are the ones at the Olympics, but it's also a testing level, so it's a level of accomplishment that a lot of skaters most of them don't get to. A very few sampling, and then the more elite ones compete. Yeah, so she almost passed it when she was a junior in high school. Missed it by one thing. They'll have you reskate an element if you're close, and they had her reskate one, and she missed it. And she's had about 5. It's like 5 or 6, or I don't even know how many times and disappointments and close calls she's had on it. But she's doing it again on August 20th, which my birthday's the 19th, and I said, being how, I live with a Jehovah's Witness, all I really want for my birthday is these fucking bees to leave me alone. To hit that level of accomplishment that she should have hit a long time ago. So, it's just, you got to have it all together, and it's a longer.
Way to not put pressure on her.
Yeah.
None of those $1,000 skates?
Not crying in the ring, Laney.
My life is miserable, and this is all I really want now. I mean, my life is meaningless if you don't get this. No pressure.
Putting all my hopes on you, honey.
My life is meaningless either way, but you get that last level of it, then she'll just have that. No, she won't have to worry about it. But okay, so I started watching the 3rd episode of the Charlie Manson show on Epix. And this is the concept that I really enjoyed. Is Charlie got to the Haight-Ashbury late in the game, like he was doing a stint in prison, and he kind of got there. Everybody's already doing LSD and everything's, and Manson got his fucking skill set by Dale Carnegie. He got
Win Friends.
Yeah, friends, and he was he studied that guy until he got tired and figured he had enough of it, and then he fucking used it on people, and that's what he used. But it was like there's all these little circles around the Haight-Ashbury in that park over there, and it was like all these different gurus, and it made me think of like different comedy clubs. Comics do, it wasn't a big comedy scene, so you'd go like, I'm a guru. So I'm doing acid, and then you just go sit around. Hey, man, sit around, everybody.
Do your tight 15.
Society doesn't want you, man. We are all butterflies, yo. Like, and then after you're done with your guru set, you talk to a few people. Hey, man, I really liked your shit. And I think Charlie, where I got to in it is Charlie made the right choice, because I don't think he could have competed with some of the other gurus. So he went after younger chicks and like runaways and shit, and he worked his thing. And then when he got enough group, he got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
There's too many gurus. I'm going to go to LA where there ain't any.
You don't want to be a car salesman at the auto mall. Get the fuck go to a smaller venue.
Get the fuck out once the basket's full.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at on it. But I'm fascinated by fucking Charlie's thing.
It seems like a pretty good advertisement for the Dale Carnegie program.
It really is.
I mean, it seems like he really hit it out of the park.
He should have a quote in the jacket cover.
Yes.
Like on the flap, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, it shows you if you just figure out what you're selling.
Believe in your product.
And then fucking,
At the risk of telling a fucking story again, I think I probably told you guys, but when I was in the Army, my buddy got called up involuntarily to go become a recruiter. And when they sent him to recruiting school, and the very first email I got from him was, hey, read How to Win Friends and Influence People. Yeah. He goes, that's the very first thing they made us do. And he goes, and it reminded me of you. And I was like, thanks a lot.
Yeah, hey, put a hand on his shoulder, now you got to be careful. He might have to rewrite some of the touching rules or whatever.
Yeah, Erickson will, by that.
It's such bullshit. It's just such fucking beginning level cult awareness.
Well, it could have. I always said it could have easily been called "How to Manipulate People and Get Your Way." And then we talked about this on the stream the other day. There is a negative version of that book by a guy named Robert Greene called "The 48 Laws of Power." And, it's most popular in prison.
Yeah.
48. That's
48. You could boil it down.
2 more bullshit rules.
I think Tony Baskin Robin of Fury
for a bookstore. 48 seems like you didn't put enough time in.
I think he was just setting it up, Shayla, because I think there's a sequel, like the 50th rule, and it gives you the other 2 in the next book. It was all about marketing.
Rule 51: ignore all that other shit I told you.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Buy my next book.
I guess, one of the few good things about being burnt early and not trusting anybody is I could see through that kind of fucking opening level grip that is good salesmanship, or, nice to meet you, sir. It's like Eddie Haskell. It's to me.
Well,
this guy wants me to like him.
Yeah, you got Olympic level manipulation very early, and were exposed to people who were telling you nice things in order to get something, which is a lesson that is a valuable lesson to have. I don't know if that's exactly the best way to go about learning it, but you did learn it early.
Yeah. I wish I would have been dated, like maybe if he was an older comic or something, it could have been useful. It's like I'd be, I'm a 14, 15-year-old boy dating a 30-something-year-old, comic guy. And, maybe that'd have been more useful than just some fucking boring dude. And then today, it was today. I got that speaker and I can play anything, with YouTube.
Whoa. What are you talking about, a speaker?
I got that Bluetooth speaker and I can listen to music. And one of the things that, burned me about, I could still watch Marilyn Chambers porno. Me and Steve watched those together because that was different. But I never really liked ELO because of it. Mm-hmm. I'd sit in his car and he'd crank it up and he always had a cool stereo and he'd play like Evil Woman or, that telephone one. Uh-huh. And then I would as I got older, I'd fuck this music. Or, I didn't like it because I always thought of the awkward courturt
Trigger.
Yeah. Bad associations. Yeah.
I didn't, I wasn't like, hey man, here's something I like to listen to. Eventually though, when we went music shopping, I got Cheap Trick.
What? He took you to a record store?
Banana Records in Menlo Park or Palo Alto, and he this was when he really there was some awkwardness. This is when I woke up to a Slurpee.
What?
That's when I woke up and I was
Wait, the drink?
No, I was the Slurpee. He said I had my straw was in his mouth. And I woke up to that,
okay.
And that was I was already kind of bummed out about our courtship, and that was just it wasn't, And then
I hadn't even said yes yet.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I was asleep.
It's funny because taking a date to a record store is a way you're like, I think I really want to impress this person.
Well, no, it was on the way home. This was an
apology trip.
You know, this was hey, that was, you know, let's not talk about that. And after I got school closed, I got a surprise for you, and I got what I called at the time, because I didn't know any better. I called it, I was a rape victim. I got a ghetto box. I had to say I'm a rape victim so I can say ghetto box, because I was in my own personal ghetto, and kind of my family could have moved. We could have moved my family and plunked them in any ghetto, and we would have fit in. Oh, your place is dilapidated too.
Yeah, I think that was a common.
Did you get on the music
but
trip?
He got me.
Did I miss that?
Well, he got me the music box, and then I just started. I'd heard a Cheap Trick song, and I got that one. I forget which Cheap Trick, and then I got REO Speedwagon. Yeah, I got the REO Speedwagon, and that was one of the trips. And then that was what but if I would have got ELO, I probably wouldn't have listened to it. But they're not a bad band.
Oh, they're great.
And it is kind of an awkward soundtrack for a man-boy relationship. Like some of the songs, like, you evil woman. It's like, wait a minute. I'm just a guy. I'm just a kid. I want to play football.
That's pretty trite. Like he's not even trying, because I'm gonna make him a mixtape, and I'm gonna put "Evil Woman" at number 1.
Well, he's
not even subtle about this. You're raping this guy with your mouth, and you're putting "Evil Woman" right when you put his headphones on.
And that was probably the coolest thing about him. I mean, okay, so he liked Monty Python. I didn't get it at the time. We both like Sizzler.
Who doesn't like
and
Sizzler?
I really like going to the Grand Prix place, because he would coach me on driving. We'd drive around, and he had hand controls on his car, but he didn't have very good hand control when I was driving, I'll say. And but one of the things I liked was when we went to the Grand Prix racetrack, Malibu track, or was that what it's called?
Grand Prix, yeah.
My favorite dish at Sizzler was Malibu chicken. So you see how it all comes full circle. But I would go to that, and he wouldn't ride with me. So it's like, I got to drive fast, wind in my hair, and nobody touching my leg or telling me how great I am. He was pretty handsy. We went to Great America, and this was before Trump, made it great. That this was Great America, which was, just a bunch of fucking drug fiend characters dressed like Looney Tunes, or drugged up. You could tell they were fucked up, weird, sketchy,
like Fremont Street Spider-Man.
Yeah, Wile E. Coyote was Wiley, Yeah, that's it. And I got to drive around, but that, like at Great America, and I won a couple of stuffed animals. I'm not, going to say I'm not good, and I did make some baskets, but the celebration was a little over the top, I sunk a basket. I don't need a full back rub or whatever, I'm not the greatest kid ever, So I was starting to see through the, being buttered up, because I didn't, it's like, I went on a series of progressively bad dates, and I didn't know how to say, no, I don't think I want to go out with this guy again.
Just be friends.
Yeah, let's not even do that,
I can go to Malibu Grand Prix by myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one of the keepsakes I had for a while, as I had that license. So I thought if I ever go back, I'd have it.
Did you ever drag strip?
In college, I did a bunch of blow off the corner of it and burn it. I got rid of a lot of collectibles that I got. I'm pretty sure that ghetto box got blown up.
What you mean is a ghetto blaster, right?
Yeah, ghetto box, ghetto blaster. I put it on my shoulder, put fucking Cheap Trick on there. Fuck yeah, man. And then I was healing, I guess. I didn't really know I was damaged, but I was healing. I did, so some of that because we get little pints of booze and stuff, and then I go home, and it's like I didn't go about it in the right way. Like you're supposed to, like Dazed and Confused. You're supposed to be a freshman and have some seniors get you fucked up, and then you end up putting a shirt on a dog. Well, I had to wait till my sophomore year, and I was already drinking. Nobody wanted to invite me to the parties my freshman year because I was far too destructive and dangerous, and I could drive because I got held back because of that incident with the Ski White's brother in the lunchbox. So I repeated, but I could drive as a 16-year-old, or I was driving before anybody else. So like as a freshman, I was driving, and I was drunk.
Grand Prix though, right?
I was drunk driving with a learner's permit and racing my car. Drunk driving with a learner's permit, and then when I really didn't have. There was nobody who told me that, hey, this stuff will kind of help ease the pain of what's going on here. You shouldn't drive a vehicle. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
And then I just would slam my car into shit and fuck it up. And I remember this was a low point with the station wagon. There was this little stretch of road, and we called it the Mario Andretti Drive. And then I would drive it in my station wagon all squirrely and shit. And one time I plowed into a dirt bank and just bent the shit out. Shouldn't even been drinking and driving, and I shouldn't even gone to school that day. Really, should have just taken a skip day.
The car and the first period.
Oh no, you drink beers in the morning classes, and then at noon we'd go fucking squirrel around in the car, and then I bashed it all up. It was a piece of shit paneled, Mercury or whatever it was, and then my brother David, the car was there, and I couldn't open the door, so it was like it was fucked on the driver's side, and he took a big screwdriver and just pried it, like bent metal on both sides of it, and he goes there. And it's like, it's like, okay, nobody gave a fuck. It's like, my dad goes, I bet you were hot rodding. And it's like, no, let's get right in his face. He goes, no, I wasn't, Dad. A deer jumped out.
Deer. It's always a deer.
And my dad heard Larry, everybody in my family probably was a liar. My nephews were liars or are liars, and then their kids will be liars. And it's like, my dad had just like, he heard it all, and he would stop listening, and I would like run out of steam with the lie, and he knew I was lying and shit,
You just
look at the little guys all tuckered out.
Yeah, yeah. But here's the fucking kicker to that. Once I finally fucked up the station wagon, that's when, that was it. Holy shit, Shaylee found pretty much the fucking yellow brown. Ours had more sun bleaches on it.
I remember, man, those things were a fucking beast.
Yeah, I remember. And then my dad would, he was dead legged at that time, so he was always the passenger. And I remember going on lots of squirrely road. My mom drove like me, only she wasn't under the influence. She weaved around and shit. I remember a lot of really fucked up road trips and throwing up out the back of the station wagon. It had seats in the back where you could sit the opposite direction.
Yep.
For kids nobody could sit in the back and get car sick.
What happened was, after a while, they figured out that if you had the window down in the back, which our family had 4 kids, you would have the window down in the back, and then 2 kids would be sitting perpendicular. They'd be sitting across from each other, and the just the airfoil, like the wind action, the exhaust would come into the back of the thing, and kids died while laying back there. And his parents were like, "They're so quiet this time. The rumbling was sleepy." They died of carbon monoxide poisoning because it was rolling into the back of the window.
Yeah, I always got kind of, sleepy. I still like passing out in cars.
That's a fact. I can attest to that.
Yeah, it's like a little cocoon, and somebody has to break glass to fuck with you, or bend metal,
or already be in the car.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and there's that. Yeah. That was always something I intended to do as a revenge, was put a raccoon in somebody's car, shut it in there, and I was trapping them for a while, and I was like, what do I do with them? And then there was somebody I was out to get, but I was like, that was what I come up with, is if I could get into his car and put a raccoon that I trapped in the car. It'd be hilarious.
You don't think that they're going to know that it's the kid who's trapping all the raccoons and letting them out in the parking lot?
This was an adult.
traps in his garage.
This was they would have had to go. I don't
know. Andy, letting them go.
This was and I think he might have died of cancer, so I can say it. And I won, Tom. I won. But he was the guy who built all those houses by my little, piece of paradise. Played the guitar and shit. And if I could follow him, that's why I was kind of pushed to my limits. when you go, I'm going to follow this motherfucker home and just see where he goes, and then just kind of see, like I did actually talk about it in a bit, because I was like, like when you're 42, you're ready to kill somebody and you've already followed somebody home. Yeah. I actually was like, I might, like see, it's like I just want to eat, see what's up or whatever. But you're crossing a line. And then when I got a Dewey from a cop here in town. And then I saw a picture of him working out at a club, and then like he in a Captain America shirt, and one of him holding a Chihuahua. I was like, maybe I'll see where he lives and go get his dog. And like, wait, no, I can't do this shit. I can't. If I followed every impulse like that, just following 10% of them's gotten me in a lifetime of situation.
I was gonna say your track record. Well, the podcast is based on the fact that you do follow those impulses.
Yeah, but I've never
podcast.
I've never done arson, and I always.
Stop talking.
Yeah.
That's great.
We don't need listeners that bad, Andy. We don't need DA trying to solve cold cases.
Right, yeah. I don't want Patton Oswald's new wife to get all fucking interested.
I have to stand out.
And he gets brought down by Natty Gann.
That's a resume topper right there.
Yeah.
Andy Andrist. I've never done an arson.
Yeah. No. Season 3 or no, season 5 is Michelle's daughter, Patton's daughter, watches some of this and puts together some cold cases. Everybody carries the go bag, and nowadays everybody's got alcohol wipes and things that are like you don't have to be Dexter to know that some of that stuff's useful for wiping down a crime scene. But with all these cameras these days, what are you going to do? Well, everybody's wearing masks. Just wear a hat, some glasses too.
That's it.
Time is upon us. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. The other day I went to did I tell you about me going to the bank the other day? Yeah, I go up to the bank and I think they're just going to take my check and like go back inside and then come out and bring me a receipt or something. She goes, "Oh no, come on inside." I'm like, "Oh, I hadn't been in a bank in 4 months."
Wow.
But I mean, I got my mask and everything, and I walk in and she goes, "Stand right there." And there's a dot like right 2 feet into the door, and she goes, "Look over there, and pull your mask down." So I'm like and I look at the camera, and then she has me like sanitize up, and then I can proceed to the thing. I was like, I guess everyone in here is walking in as a robber.
Yeah.
I mean, this is how they did it in the Old West.
Yeah,
without hand sanitizer.
Give your guns to Jeb over there before they come in.
Check your gun.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy wearing a mask looks just like Ronald Reagan.
Hey.
Your cash.
I saw the other day online. They have a company that will print a mask that looks just like your face.
Yeah, I've seen those. They're creepy.
I think that'd be fun if I went anywhere and wore a mask longer than 3 seconds.
I think it would be one of those things that you think would be fun until you've had it on for a little while, and then it's just a hassle because people think you're not wearing a mask, and you keep having to have to deal with that. Like, I think it would be funny for a minute, and then you'd be like, "Oh my God, I have to do this again."
It's pet rock, man. It's someone like going, "Oh, let's do this." And then a bunch of people buy them. It's like those ugly fucking elf sweaters. The sweaters were funny when you found one at a thrift store that was genuinely hideous. And then there was a fucking guy on Shark Tank who made hideous sweaters. It's like, that's not fucking cool. That is a fucking Chinese made goofy suit that you wear that has 8 balls all over it, and you're like, I'm so crazy. What? Because you went online?
Yeah. You can get matching suit. Like
there's like one of those guys
at
guys at every Stanhope show.
I know.
With a wacky suit on. It's like, oh, Doug's gonna love this because Doug wears. No. It's not the same thing at all. You had that printed up and made.
He treats it the same way that he treats someone who comes in when he used to do Halloween gigs. Someone would come in a gorilla suit, and then he would have everyone not acknowledge the guy in a gorilla suit because he walked out of his house to be acknowledged as the gorilla suit guy, and he's like sitting there going, Jesus Christ, no one's saying anything. The comic, they're sitting in the front row,
this
and
is hilarious.
If you think about it, we sort of did that in the Unbookables with the Satan character. I
thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna compare James to a gorilla.
No, well, you know what? And you might have read the post.
I did read the
lady,
post.
James we are insensitive. It's like when I said, like I'm bipolar. A doctor suggested I might be bipolar, and even if he's wrong, I turned it on people, and it's shame on them.
Yes.
Shame on people who said I'm a cokehead and put it in. That's I'm not a fictional character.
Shame
damn it.
me with my I have a.
I'm in the middle of a manic episode, sir.
Yeah. I have impulse control problems.
Yes. Excuse me, I'm having a freak out. I need space. I'm bipolar. Okay. It's fine. So James Inman's lady wrote up a big thing, and it does make sense. And I have heard that James Inman has Asperger's, and it's not just because it sounds funny doesn't make James funny. But he has.
Wait, his gal wrote something?
Yeah. About how.
Oh, okay. I got.
And people are annoyed with him, So basically, everything that annoys us about James and his crying jags and his it's fun too. But that's a symptom of his Asperger's. And I don't care if he has Asperger's or he's just an annoying puppet or he's an alien from another place. I still like him and hate him in the same levels as before. Knowing that he's got Asperger's just, gives him an excuse, and it does make sense.
Yeah, it was a nice piece that Brenda wrote, though. I think that for her to be in that place mentally to understand because she used to put up with him every fucking day. So, it really explained to her what was going on, and it was more about her revelation that, this is why. So now all of the pieces fit together. And even though he's still probably just as impossible to deal with, at least now she has the same reason Andy has, that he has to do coke at parties all the time because he's got a condition. So
I'm trying to feed.
Not his fault.
Feed a hole in my heart.
I had one of my psychotherapists one time talk to my wife outside of me. Maybe it's before HIPAA. I don't know, but
wait, when did HIPAA start? Did that is that like the Reagan era? And all of a sudden HIPAA started?
No, 1500s.
I guess the joke. Well, that's the Hippocratic Oath. I don't know but I guess the joke is that she didn't give a fuck about that because she went to my wife and told he has borderline personality disorder, and I suggest you get as far away from him as you can immediately. And it's hard when you look at books on borderline personality disorder. There's one called like Walking on Eggshells and different things, and almost every one of them, the advice to people is like, get the fuck out, go, run now.
Hippocratic Oath started in the 5th century, by the way. I just looked it up.
Put together a go bag.
Chad's been fucked up
for based on the Hippocratic. I know I wasn't signing HIPAA violation paperwork 20 years ago.
Yeah, put together a go bag and put together a breakup mixtape and get the fuck out.
Check out now.
You can see Mishka Shubali for breakup mixtape.
Yeah.
Andy, do you have a go bag? Just your car.
Like, when I'm surfing, I could hit the right. I don't even have a bag. I just throw enough stuff in there to start over.
Andy doesn't even have a go bag of weed, Shaley.
I think you should actually, Andy, on your car, the one you got when the other one blew up, you should put a pair of surf racks and just an old shitty surfboard and just leave it there the whole time. And that's your cover. Because surfers constantly are, look, I'm ready to surf anytime there's waves.
Yeah.
I'm jerking off. I was putting on my wetsuit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I felt the pull of the,
I felt the pull of the ocean.
Yeah, little pull of the old ocean there, and it looks like I'm scouting. I'm the old, wizened, surfer. I'm out there just standing on the edge of the surf
with your divining rod.
Just see enough daylight to see. Wow, he's dancing around there. No,
couple of
wobbly. You get a leg cramp or something.
You know how they say, like, act like you're there and like you're supposed to be there and you'll get away with stuff. I picture Andy jerking off on the beach and somebody's like, "What are you doing?" "Hey, how are you doing, sir?" Just doesn't even stop. Just keeps jerking off like
checking the surf. Just checking the surf.
Checking the tide, surf. Just checking the tide. Have a good day.
One time I did. There was a bus of. This is in the Big Sur, and there was a church busload of people. They were all staying.
Andy, hold on a second. You were up there for a run, weren't you?
Yeah, it was with Levine.
Yeah.
And those Florida guys, fucking big old Figler and little Nico.
Yeah.
And I was up early, and there were a busload of Christians. I saw them at night, and that kind of ruined my. I was going to go down there, jerk off, and they were on the beach, and I saw their bus first, and then I saw them. And it's like, oh, here they are. This is ruined. And then, but in the morning, I was there, and I got kind of a late start. It was a little more close to daylight than I would. And then, I'm standing kind of like, in front of the hotel where this bus was. And then I just turned and jerked off. And then I was like, yeah. And then I knew there's probably, Christians that get up early to start judging people, and there I am on the beach, and I was like, and then I was like, this isn't what nature jacking is. It was an aggressive, like I was serving the Christians. I was like, if you're up looking, I'm jerking off on your beliefs and in your face. And then it's like, fucking threw it down. And it's like, wait, no, I'm trying to, like, nature jacking is about not being toxic. And if you bring in hatred and personal bias, religious bias, bigotry.
Yeah, your mindset has a lot to do with it, Andy.
Yeah, it's like nature jacking's like doing hallucinogenics. If you don't have the right mindset, it can turn evil pretty quickly. You can go down some dark tunnels. You can end up in handcuffs before you know what.
I'm also recognizing now your like real aversion to bees.
Yeah.
Because that could also really sink a good
jack. Your hands are full.
Yeah, I won't even do it. I don't like things entering my body without my permission. Even my body entering them without permission.
You're allowed that, Andy.
Yeah.
Andy doesn't like to be BeeToo'd.
Hashtag that shit.
I had to. Sorry about that, guys.
When I was a kid, I was playing football by my house in Coquille, and the ball went into these woods, and this kid Russell Dew went in there, and he came running out, and then he said "bee" singular. And then I went in to go get the football, and the ball landed in a yellow jacket area, and I went down there and stepped all over him. I'm thinking, he said "be," fuck that. To be or not to be, I ain't worried about it. I'm gonna go get the football, and that's when I got my introduction to bees. And I'd never been stung before.
You got your introduction to plurals,
and I got my head.
Or Shakespeare.
My head looked like Rocky at the end of the first Rocky movie, like my head ballooned. I got stung like 30 times in the head and face. God. I went running into the house, like freaking out. And my dad was like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna, you know," and he didn't offer much help, but he's in a wheelchair, or I don't know. He could have done something maybe, but he didn't say anything. And then I basically ran as fast as a white kid my size and weight could do. It felt like I was flying. And then I went to the clinic, and I'm in a crowded clinic, and other people are getting stung now. Because I'm in there and bees are still coming out of my hair. I'm picking them out, panicking, get my
information. You ran from the forest where the bees attacked you all the way home, and then all the way to like a prompt care, and you still had bees in your hair?
Yeah. Jesus. And then on key, motherfucker shows up. And like I had them. I shouldn't have so much glassware around here. I could kill these fuckers. And then I'm pretty sure I went to school just because I thought I looked cool, because I was already a cutter. So I'd punch myself and get all swollen up. But my whole head was like, I couldn't even, my eyes were swollen shut like that. But when I was at the clinic and I was like, so I ran into the house not knowing what really had happened. It just fucking hurt, and it was tense, and I heard the bees, but I just didn't piece it together, at this point. And then I got up in the bathroom.
But you wondered what was happening to your face?
Yeah, they basically, I think I bent down on top of their thing and they just swarmed my hair. And I had fucking fucked up hair. I think that was when I had the perm. And so the bees just fucking made short work of my fucking ass. And so I'm running in there, picking bees out of my pillow. Where's my pick? Yo, where's my pick? I gotta pick these bees out. So then I see the bees in the bathroom mirror, and then that's when I sprinted to the clinic, and then I'm like, I need to see the doctor. I broke all protocol. I just sprinted in there, and there, there's a waiting room, and somebody else. I know one other person got stung.
How far from your house to the clinic?
Coquille seems like everything's like 4 feet away, but it's like 6 blocks, or
Wow.
But I was on fire.
Yeah,
I was
like the main drag.
Trying, my dad offered very little. When my dad had his arms folded, it meant you're on your own. And so he just had his arms folded.
The picture I have is Andy running in with his face almost like this guy, but like bees swarming him, and then his dad going, "You're on your own."
He goes, yeah. He didn't know what to do. And then I remembered the doctor up that way. Go ahead, I'm not panicking. Go ahead, sting me. Get it out of your system. It'll hurt for 4 days. Itch for 5, and I'll win. Because I think those die when they sting you. At least I'd like to think so.
When you walked into the clinic,
I didn't walk in.
But I mean, but you went in there without an adult, and you demanded to see a doctor immediately, looking like this guy on the screen behind you.
I don't think I swelled up quite then, but unfortunately, a kid had bashed his head at the pool. And why did he go to the clinic? That's a hospital situation. But there was a bleeder, so that's when somebody got stung. As I had to take a seat and fill out some of that shit, crying and hurt. My hands were stung. Everything was fucked up, and I had to at least write some basic cursory information. And and then I felt like I was going to get seen, and that's when somebody come in and went off the diving board and split their head open. I'm like, God damn it, I don't know if I was like upset at that, but I was just like, I needed some care, and I don't even know what they did for me. I can't even remember what.
First thing they should have done is thrown a bucket of water on your head.
Yeah, they should have told me to plug my eyes and nose and get me.
Child Protective Services. Where's your parents?
I don't know where.
That's what's funny. Not where's your parents. Here's this clipboard. Fill out this information.
Yeah, I was a regular there. I'd step on a lot of shit. I was a regular.
Dishes. Now, why did you step on stuff?
Like those Jingo blocks, and then some bars have them extra big Jingo blocks. My family had something in between the two, but I got my head split open with those. Knocked on my head. beanbag, like things happen to me a lot. Why was I barefoot at the dump? Nobody should be doing that. And I stepped on glass. I got a needle wedged in my foot.
I want the Patreon podcast to be all of these stories, Andy. Yeah. I want to know what the fuck happened each time. I want to know about you being barefoot at the dump.
Yeah, I started
barefoot at the dump. That means you're in India.
Yeah. Well, I started 6th grade on crutches because I jumped onto a needle in shag carpet. I didn't realize it was there. I was just wrestling around with Star Trek music in my head with my brother.
That's right. The Star Trek scene.
But I got a needle, and one of them sewing needles, and it went all the way into my foot, and the end of it went into my bone and then snapped off. And then I went for several weeks of summer being a little baby, making something up. I don't think and then finally, when I couldn't walk anymore, they took me in for an x-ray, and then I saw that needle, and then they told me I was going to need surgery and that they were going to give me a needle that would knock me out. I could remember crying like a baby because I didn't like needles at all. And just that, let alone they were going to cut this. Yeah. So, and then and then while I was on crutches, nobody told me that you can't swing down stairs, and we had pretty dramatic wooden stairs and narrow, and I started the top of it and fucking went down them and fucked myself up and went back to the clinic.
Swing down chairs.
What do you fell down a staircase at home?
Yeah,
what did you swing on? Like the banister?
I went on the first crutch. It was basically I had no concept of science.
On crutches. You went off the top stair
on crutches. Down and went down in a heap and fell down, and then it's like I was back for an x-ray on my arm. So I had a pretty good track record of just things going wrong, and I don't know. I guess because of the probably the being poor, we had back then when the government sort of gave a half a fuck about people. I think they I would if it were up to my old man and he had to pay copay, I wouldn't have gone there. We would have just done some at home fucking care. Bees in your head, shave your hair.
At home care. Your dad sits there and folds his arm and goes, "You're on your own." That's at home care. As far as I know, that's what you get at your house.
Yeah. He hit him in the face with an aloe vera plant. That's at home
care. Which I found out. That's
feet up.
That's gonna get stung by bees, you son of a bitch! Bam!
It's kind of hurtful detachment when it's a physical thing, but when it's a emotional, like you lost a friend or you survived something that you're like, holy shit, and then like, hey man, I know you had some issues as a kid, but you should kind of break through once in a while. This might be one of them. But he stayed in character. True
to form.
Yeah.
I know we're late in the podcast, but I have to tell you, this story reminds me. I have a story. I had people who cared about me, Andy, and I was loath to tell anybody. When I was about 11 or 12, I lived on a ranch. My mom hooked up with this guy. Her boyfriend had a big ranch, and we moved out to the middle of nowhere.
This was after the trailer park?
This is after several trailer parks.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah.
Setting the tone. Sorry.
Yeah. So I got told I could have rabbits, but I had to build a rabbit hutch. So I built a rabbit hutch, and I got I found a little box that I could put in the rabbit hutch. And while I was spray painting it, there was a tick crawling across it.
Oh no.
And growing up as a little redneck, all I remember about ticks is that people would pull them off dogs and then burn them with a match. Mm-hmm. So I got mad about the tick, and I says, well, my rabbits aren't going to have ticks. And first I used to tell this story, and I would say that it was just the spray paint fumes, but I'll tell the truth. I tried to fucking kill it with a can of WD-40 that I sprayed all on this fucking tick, big tick. And it just filled this wooden box full of WD-40 fumes, at which point I then decided to light it a match. It exploded so bad. I was fucking torched. My face, my arm, my eye. I couldn't open my eyes for a long time because my eyelashes fused together.
Oh my
When
God!
I closed my eyes, they singed together, and I was stuck with my eyes closed. And I was so terrified that I was going to get in trouble for being a fucking idiot, because that's you get in trouble for being an idiot. I realized right away. I ran in the house, and my mom's boyfriend was there, and I ran in the house and just jumped in a cold shower and just stood there, and I fucking was like, all right, I'm all right, and I'd get out. And I go, oh fuck, I gotta jump. I jump back in. I had to jump back in, and I took about 5 cold showers before he came over, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You've taken 7 showers. What's going on?" And I had to tell. He took me to the hospital, and I had to get all kinds of packed on. I had like 2nd-degree burns, and I was all
done. And the tick was fine.
And I'm kind of curious how the rabbit end up okay.
Well, I didn't have the rabbit yet, so the rabbit.
So you were just clearing it out for the rabbit.
Yeah.
I was building the rabbit hutch to get a rabbit.
Yeah,
so the rabbit was the war.
I think having pets is a good way to teach kids about life and death. And that's the guinea pigs, man. It was like, one thing after another. I got little babies, and how wonderful this is, name them all. And then the next day, the dad ate them. Like, well, sorry, William Jr., Steve, Willie, and Thomas. Sorry, I wasn't for the morning to protect you. No, Willie, not Willie. And then one time I left them out, and it was freezing, and so do they. You unplug that light. Well, that unplugged the fish tank, and they're all dead now. Oh, shit, all of them. Good job, little Hitler.
Good job, little Hitler.
I had tropical fish, and I plugged something else in and unplugged the tropical fish, and they were all dead. And you know whose fault it was? It wasn't mine. I didn't do it. But somebody. It was. I'm not going to take responsibility, but it was me. I don't know if my dad can get on the. I should have saved this for Patreon, because surely my dad would.
We'll wrap it up so you can tease it to Patreon.
Yeah. He's probably not in heaven. He's probably didn't qualify. I mean, it's pretty tough to get in.
He went to the good place.
Yeah, he's in heck. No, he's in heaven. He read his Bible.
Yeah,
he loved his kids. He just
they don't get there. All right, well, let's do that. Let's make a drink and go over to Patreon and wrap this baby up.
All right,
absolutely. You guys know the drill. Thanks for watching and being there and subscribing to the channel on YouTube and telling your friends and your coworkers and your family so that we can grow this thing a little bit.
Cellmates. I think we're getting some cellmate people. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. People who are trapped and forced to listen. Our biggest listens. And you can subscribe to Chad's Twitch stream channel and watch him and
My
the boys
subs are dropping like crazy. Get over there and sub. I'm on a downward spiral.
I'm going to get back on there and re-up on my new device, because I got to wipe out about 15 Gmail accounts before I can square and make comments again. But I'm devoting some time once I get on the other side of this painting to get back on there, because I listen and then I lose it. I can't comment, but I'm getting back and I'll sub up.
Very good. Very good. All right. We love you guys. We're going to go over to Patreon. If you want to join us for the episode 74 after party, then that's how you would do that. You would sign up for the Issues with Andy Patreon. And for $5 a month, you get all kinds of content. We do this twice a week. So you get 2 shows a week for $5.
Extra.
That's nothing. That's amazing.
For a month. $5 for the month. That's 8 extra.
Yeah. Well, there you go. See, Shaylee's even better salesman.
I can do math. I'm drunk, but I can do math.
He read farther into the Dale Carnegie book than I did.
Oh, my God.
Thanks for being out there. We love you guys. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheerio.